All right. It appears that I am. Can you? Can you guys hear me? Somebody type in there. Yes, we can hear you. I'm waiting. Somebody has to do it. All right. Thanks, Josh. All right. Hey. So it has been an absolute roller coaster of the past, I don't know, 5 months for me. Been wild. So I'm all grins because I've been reading your guys' comments before we even started. I think that's so cool that some of you guys showed up and started commenting before the video even started. That's really nifty. I like this little community we got going on here. All right, it's neat. Anyways, so yeah, I got to thinking, hey J&K, I'm doing well, buddy. And everybody, hey, hello, Josh, and J&K. That's no. I don't tell me. I know your first name. Is it Justin? Justin and Kelsey, I think is what it is. But Darren, hey Doc, man, yeah, I hadn't heard from you for a while, and I think Aaron posted, "Hey, anybody heard from Doc?" And it made me start thinking, "Everything okay, buddy?" So yeah, usually you're first person to comment and everything, and here recently I've just been like, "Where's Doc?" Anyways, hey Ohio Lumberjack, hey, is your hands hurt too from pulling that 660? We should ask Cole if his is hurt too. But yeah, I mean, I could feel it. I noticed it whenever I was getting back from the race. I couldn't uh I couldn't open a can of Coke with this hand. So I was like, hey Levi, Darren, Aaron, Josh, who else we got? Chainsaw hoarder syndrome sufferer. Yes, all you guys. Good to see you all. So, without further ado, I guess let's get started on the questions here. I got my phone all set up. We're going to start off with the very first question, and it comes from, yep, I'm getting old. Red Tiller, 1975. And his question says, hello. That's not a question. Hello, Red Tiller. How you doing? Crazy feller, moving on up here. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck? You know the rest. I guess I consider myself a woodchuck, and I chuck a lot of wood. Sup, Pat? How you doing, buddy? Dave, how are you? Um, so before we get on to the real questions here, what happens? It occurred to me because I'm really bad about answering the comments. I read every one of them, but it's a lot easier to read them, and then you go, I don't want to reply, right? That's the way it goes, right? But I thought, you know what? Let's just give people a chance to do a video and a live feed and type all their questions out. So here we go, question and answer. Man, I'm getting so many comments coming in so fast I can't keep up. Yeah, I just read that, Darren. Moved to Tennessee. Wait a minute. Okay. Anyways, all right, on with the questions. Red Teller, it looks like he has an actual question here. I have a Husqvarna 257 with a bad cylinder. I have a 262 XP cylinder. I am going to put on it. Should I put it on stock first and start modifying it to show the gains? Well, okay, so here you go. You know, quickly, I think it was Doc. He was like, yeah, it was Doc. Doc says, show your progress. Well, viewers always like for you to show the progress. They want to see the progress all the time. And then, so there's that. If you're wanting to please an audience, yeah, show your progress. If you're wanting to be humbled, show the progress. Because most of the time, with most people, most of their power gains are from a muffler mod, and that's it. You know, So if you want to be like, woohoo, look at that, I got a 20% increase in power, then just go straight in there to the performance gains finished product. But if you want to be kind of humbled by the process, show all of your progress, because yeah, most of the times a muffler mod is where most of your power gains come from. Anyways, so there's one question down. Super Dave, don't worry about it, buddy. Keep on put out your video. Not very many people watch my stuff. I mean, we can all learn from each other, right? But I have already made my 2 videos. It took 2 videos to talk about the transfer timing of the Husqvarna 5 series. So I got part 1 and part 2. They're both coming out tomorrow. One will come out tomorrow morning. The other one will come out tomorrow afternoon at like 5. So mine's just really focusing on transfers and what separates the 5 series from everything else. And I do touch on my little theory of why blowdown is nothing comes from blowdown. That's just a metric that we use to talk about it because it's easy to understand. Oh, look at that. Hey, what? Luke is joining. Look at that. Well, tomorrow, Luke, buddy. And if you're the one that I think that you are, I'm pretty sure you already know. So let's see. Yeah, see, Cajun, he's touching on you, Red Tiller. Unless you can machine that 262, there's not going to be a whole lot of gains there. It'll be all muffler mod. So, but anyways, yeah, tomorrow there's going to be 2 videos come out, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, in the evening, about the Husqvarna 5 series as they were explained to me and as I see them and all that jazz. So hopefully it'll be really good and we can all learn something from that. Darren says, I want to know what happened to the 365 special race saw that was loading up after it ran a while. It is still sitting on the shelf. A lot of people would find that dumbfounding, but it might be faster than my 2165 Jonsered. If it is, from what I've seen, it's not that much faster. And I know that because I looked at the race footage from Alabama, and my 2165 was faster through the wood than the 064 and the 660. So before the 365 special beat the 281, Bobby Boucher, but barely. And the 2165, what did I say? The 365 special beat Bobby Boucher. The 2165 beat Ike Turner with an 8-pin sprocket and the 660. So through the wood times, that is. I think it did. I think it beat the 662. So anyways, if the 365 special race saw is faster than the Jonsered that I built, then there's either something wrong with the 365 special, or wait a minute. No, if it is faster, then either there must be something wrong with it, because as it is in my testing now, it's not faster. But I need to put them head to head, you know. So anyways, what else? Hey Matt, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. Hey Nate. I don't know how you say your name. I'm going to just call you Sasquatch. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Adam, how you doing? What are we getting at? Oh, I get sidetracked. I'm the worst about this. I get so bad. So the 2165 that I built, I think it's honestly faster than the 365 special race saw that I purchased. Maybe there's something wrong with the 365. Maybe my 2165 is just that good. However, I got a 5th place finish with my 2165 at the Alabama race. And Cole, he was like, you could have had a 3rd place finish if you had brought the 365 special. And I got to thinking about that. And I thought, you know what? I'd rather have a 5th place finish with the saw that I built than a 3rd place finish with a saw that I didn't build. So just saying. All right, let's see. Indiana Doug, when are you going to get a mohawk? It's not happening, bro. I ain't getting a mohawk. I'm growing back the luscious locks as we speak. Zach, do you have any more plans with the WeMarch 6220? Okay, I'll readdress that here in a moment. But first, you get to the second part. A while back, you bought a Craftsman S205. No, I didn't. That was never mine. That was actually a friend of mine's who just wanted me to check it out for him. He got it in some yard sale or something like that. So that thing's gone, right? The 4620, I believe Crazy Feller has it. Doug. What's his face? Kevin McEddie, he had it. Sent over to Jim Saws and stuff, then got sent to like Jim Saws and stuff's in-laws or something like that. And Kevin finally went and picked it up, and I believe he has currently mailed it back to Doug, who is Crazy Feller. And then it'll come back to me. And we'll decide on what to do with it. Will I go ahead and work on Peter Frampton, the 4620? Will I work on him for SawFest next year, or will I give it away? I don't know. But let's see. The original question, the WeMarch 6220. Yes, I am going to go back with the 6220 just for shits and giggles. I am going to try and adapt a 254 XP cylinder to the 6220. The 6220 has a 34 millimeter stroke, and I have already confirmed that. And if we take the 45 millimeter cylinder from a 254 XP and can graft it onto there, then we will have a Chinese made 254 XP, which I think would be fucking cool. And even if it's not super strong, I think it'll have potential. All right. I think the biggest problem with that saw is if you build too much power, the clutch isn't going to be able to hold it. However, should be able to get the clutch for a Red Max 5000 or a Zenoa 5200 from somewhere overseas and adapt it, and it should be just fine. So anyway, so yes, I'll go back to the 6220 eventually. Kevin, Chainsaw Canuck, he says, does a bear shit in the woods? Yes. Unless they're not in the woods and they have to go shit. Are you going to do a workout video, Bill? No. My workout consists of, well, I mean, I guess I do a ton of them because my workout consists of messing with wood, pulling on chainsaws, and that's about it. Let's see. Justin, what kind of saw is Bobby Boucher? He loved running him at Hopperstock. Bobby Boucher is a 281 XP that has been ported and polished, and lots of work and effort went into that thing by Pat Cajun. Okay. Hakan, WW. What's your all-time favorite saw and why? It's really tough. It's an extremely difficult question. Hey, Mike. Let's see. I gotta say, hey, John Bob. All these people. Man, we got a lot of people tuning in. We got 60 people. Holy shit. That's the most I've ever had for a live feed. That's pretty awesome. Joe's on here. Levi. Jared. Okay, so anyways, my favorite saw of all time. I want to say it's the Johnson Red 2156, but I've never ran one. I've only ran the Husqvarna versions, the 357 XP. My 359 that I ported with help from very specifically Matt House That thing is amazing, and I love it. But you know what's even better than my ported 359X or 359 is a muffler modded 357 XP. And I have one. I haven't put it back together yet. I got it from Barry. And so I would say that if I could get that saw in red, a nice cherry Yonsa Red 2156, that's probably going to be my favorite saw right there, because it's big enough and powerful enough to pull a 24-inch bar like nobody's business. And it's small enough to where I can feel comfortable running an 18-inch bar on it and use it limbing and stuff like that. Just a fantastic saw. Let's see. Who's next? Anyone heard from Doc? Yes, I think we already established that Doc is actually on the string. And yes, I was right. Aaron was asking about you, Doc. We hadn't heard from you in a while. Joe Baker, what's your ideal Johnson Red 2100 series lineup? Well, it's definitely going to have a 2156 in there because it's just freaking awesome. If you want something smaller than that, I would definitely pick the 2153 or a 2152 that's been converted to a 2153. Same thing. Great, fantastic saws. And then I gotta have a bigger saw. If you want a real lineup, you gotta have a bigger saw. For me, I literally don't ever need anything bigger than a 70cc saw. Now sometimes I'll use something bigger, but I don't need it. So I would go with the 2171. That's your lineup right there. 2153, 2156, 2171. The 2165 is awesome, and I'm having fun with that, but I would be using that as my big saw with a 28-inch bar, and I would prefer to have the extra oomph and torque of the larger cylinder. Let's see. Quentin, would you build any chainsaw for your subscribers? I have. I've done that. Oh, hey. I have done that several times, actually. And I'm thinking that maybe next year I will actually do some port giveaways. Maybe I'll do something like that for Christmas. Jason Egan has just done that. I saw that on his Facebook page, and he got a lot of attention with that. That was very popular. And I thought, yeah, I've kind of slowed down on giving away saws, even though I've given away a bunch of saws that y'all don't even know about. I gave away a few at Paul Bunyan and at Sawfest. I just didn't feel like calling attention to it. So in my mind, I've still been giving away a chainsaw every month. But ever since Dad died, that changed me. And you know what? I'll go ahead and apologize a little bit to y'all. I was a little bit hard on everybody with the whole pay to subscribe thing. And honestly, I never saw that coming. But yeah, that was my dad affecting me. I was just like, you know what? Who cares about me in my life? And I never thought that I'd be like that, but I guess I was. But anyways, let's move on. Clone Wars, Steel clones versus Husky clones versus Zenoa clones. Which one would you pick? The Husky. I think still it's very arguable that the Husqvarna 365 and 372 XP chainsaws are the very best saws ever made. So of course I'm going to think that those clones are the most enjoyable ones. I like them. That's not to say that I'm not getting enjoyment out of this 361 though. I mean, I like that 361. I really like it. The 361 clone saw is what I'm talking about. I'm like, this is really fun. And so there you have it. Husky is the one that I would pick, though. Let's see. Adam, have you ever looked into the Husky 254 XP as a race saw builder? Yes, I have. All right, really neat saws, comparable in frame to a 55 Rancher, but longer stroke and snappy. Yes, this is was whenever I read this comment, I read it earlier. I had previously read Zach's comment asking me if I was planning on doing anything with the Weimars. And Adam, if you're out there and listening, um, the plan is I've already ordered it. It's taken forever to get here. Taken forever. I ordered it like the end of last week. Taken forever to get here. Anyways, I ordered a 254 XP Chinese cylinder, and I'm hoping that I can easily mount that onto my Weimars. In which case, it will be the 54 cc's. You'll have your 45 millimeter 254 XP cylinder and a 34 millimeter stroke, and that would be really fun if it produces really, really good power, and I can use that for next year at Sawfest. You know, there you go. Let's see. Feargle. Is there a general rule to muffler exit size and cylinder exhaust port? Yes, there is. But two things. You kind of got to be in the know to know it. And that's one. And B, I don't remember it. But yeah, there is like a little bit of a formula. Like you take the cc's and multiply them by something. But generally speaking, basically, if you're looking at like a 50 to 60 cc saw, you want about 8/10 of an inch in diameter. This is for like perfect. Okay, this throw any hearing out the window. You don't care about anything like that. You want the most perfect power. It's right at like 8/10 of an inch ish for 50 to 60 cc saws, and then above that you would go to like 1 inch, something like that. It's pretty vague, but the guys that really know say that there's a real formula of how to do it, and I can't remember what it is. So but with me, typically on everything, I used to use 5/8 inside diameter tubing, but I found that's not enough, and so I switched it to 3/4 inch EMT. So basically, if I'm doing a muffler mod, it's getting 3/4 inch EMT. If I feel like I need more, it'll get another 3/4 inch EMT. You know, and EMT is electro. I don't know what EMT stands for, but it's the conduit. Oh, you can see it right here. See, all of that stuff is EMT. Anyways, electrical conduit. All right. Life behind the axe. Bro, you brought up some serious shit here, man. He says, tell us your one crazy off the wall project you want to complete before you're done with your saw journey. There's a ton. There's too much. Okay. However, currently, I am hoping before the end of 2024. Okay. Before the end of 2024, I hope to turbocharge a chainsaw. And my way of doing that, I've shared my ideas with a handful of people. And, you know, they tell me why it won't work. Yeah, hey, if you guys want to know good answers, read Luke. Luke Bergeron. Read his answers to some of y'all's questions. Anyways, what was I saying? I talk with people about my turbocharging idea, and they tell me why it won't work, or, you know, where I'm going to have a problem and stuff like that. And, you know, they're not wrong. And neither am I. This is something that's only going to get figured out if I actually do it. And I'm going to try and do it hopefully sometime this year. But stuff like this takes a long time, and I got a lot of stuff going on. So that right there, I want to successfully turbocharge a chainsaw, but it's not going to be what you think. and I wouldn't even call it turboing it as much as I would creating perfect volumetric efficiency. So, anyways, there you go. Moving on. When do you build a saw starter? I don't need a saw starter yet. Thank goodness, Alessio. Why are there no chainsaws with reed valves? Because we learned that by we I mean the manufacturers. They learned that reed valves had their limitations, and they wanted the saws to be faster and less expensive to produce. And so, two birds with one stone. Piston porting took care of that. With piston porting, you never have to worry about your reed valves floating, right, and fluttering. Also, it's less expensive to make. So with the chainsaws, we want to run really high RPMs. And in order to do that, you need to take away all of your working mechanical devices. The same reason 4-strokes have low rev limits is the exact same thing. That's what's going on with the reed valves as well. The valves start going so fast that they don't fully shut. It's called flutter or valve float. And with reeds, you tend to call it reed flutter. Anyways, moving on. Vanilla Coke has been Smitty. Shut up, Smitty. Smitty says, is Vanilla Coke really that much better? I don't think so. I am a fan of the standard Coke. But nowadays, I'm trying to watch my fat gut, and so I do the Diet Coke or the Coke Zero or no Coke at all. And if I'm going to go full sugar, I'm going for a Mr. Pibb. Pibb Extra is the way to go on that. Ines Eric is asking me about have I ever added finger ports to a saw? Yes and no. I added I'm looking, man, you guys are just ding 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 having fun in the comments. You go get them, fellas. Have fun. I have added what I call, what did I call them? Somebody else came up with a better name. Who was it? Who came up with the better name? Anyways, I was calling them reversion fingers. And no, I know what it was. Was it you, Pat? What'd you call them, Pat? PCV? No, not PCV. Anyways, I put in reversion fingers. So I've sort of made fingers, but they're not what you're thinking. Okay. Super Dave says EGR. Yeah. EGR fingers. Yes. They're EGR ports. Yes, it was Pat. Anyways, we're losing focus here. The reason I haven't jumped on the bandwagon so quickly to create finger ports is that I feel like most every time that a person does that, they're shooting themselves in the foot because they are creating more volume in the case and cylinder than what you have. And you already have issues in properly filling up that void anyways. So why make it bigger? Right now, some people know what they're doing and are on top of that. And I can't argue with that. But I feel like most people that are wanting to play around and do finger ports don't fully understand what the finger ports are and the dynamic that changes whenever you add them in. And you'll hear a lot more about crankcase volume in tomorrow's 2 videos because I really hammer that hard. I can't remember if it's in the first one or the second one, but yeah, Pat just says he's added fingers and it not changed anything. Now, if you know what you're doing, obviously, like Joe got the Poland 425 to put out 9 horsepower, and he had fingers. Okay, so my guess is that he put a larger carburetor on that saw, but I don't know. Maybe he didn't. But anytime you add volume to your crankcase, you need to be able to also add flow. Your carburetor is a finite amount of flow. And if you add crankcase volume to a situation where you already aren't properly filling the crankcase, well, then that finite flow just means that you have an even larger negative pressure in your crankcase. So that's why I haven't messed with finger ports yet, because I haven't found the right situation to where I think that the saw will actually benefit from them. Because what I find most of the time is they Ah, so Joe just said there, just the 425 carb, but he did grind out the Venturi some. So I feel like most people, whenever they do the finger ports, it'll turn out good and it'll run good, but they don't have anything to measure it against. And therefore, they may go, yeah, the finger ports work great. Well, do you know that they did? Do you know? People can get them to work right and everything. And I don't want to say that I'm against them because I want to try them. I just want to find that situation to where I think it would be beneficial. One of those situations is probably the 361 that I am currently working with. So it's going to get a substantially larger carb than even the 460 carb that's actually on it currently. And so it will probably benefit from some heavy finger ports. So there's that. Let's see what else we got. Rage, this is Curtis. Curtis, did I get that right, buddy? Rage RC Repair. What's the one chainsaw that got you into the porting hobby? It wasn't a chainsaw at all. I have been fascinated with porting since the early 2000s because I raced motocross and I loved my two strokes. So, oh, look at that. Luke, he's like 361's the last candidate for fingers because of lack of room. Okay. Yeah, I got you there, buddy. Yeah, I raced motocross and I was so interested in learning porting, and but I never had enough money to just be able to buy the tools. The tools are so dang expensive. B be able to go. All right, yeah, I can toast this cylinder. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about it. So, but it was motorcycles that got me interested in it. Whenever I started getting interested in chainsaws, I took all of that knowledge that I had just from studying, just from studying the motorcycles and stuff, and I started to have the opportunity to transfer it onto a chainsaw because I got this chainsaw for $100, and I was like, the whole damn chainsaw is $100. It's cheap and easy. But the first one that I tried porting the 55, but I did a really half-assed job. The first real job where I saw good gains from it was actually on the first Weimars I had, which was only 50 cc's. So there you go. John Bob. John Bob Skunkworks. He says, how do you maintain being so damn awesome 24/7? Well, I married an awesome ass woman and she keeps me in check. So that's it. Every day she comes home and she's like, did you produce videos today? And I'm like, yes, ma'am, I did. So Sam Duncan. Oh, Sam says you beat me in the 3-cube class. That's not a question, Sam. But you're right. I did beat you. And I got to say, buddy, I'm really glad you made it out. We didn't get a chance to talk or anything. Every time I had free time, I was pretty much filming. But you had a hell of a rough time with your saws. None of them wanted to run. And don't let that discourage you. Keep coming back out. We've all had situations like that. My Red Max 5000, I got the saw fast and it wouldn't cut a single cookie. Not one cookie. It would barely run. So we've all been there. So keep coming out. And your axes did good though, buddy. And then finally, the last one, are the sheep for wool and or meat or just bad habit like the saws? No, the actual it says, does the missus spin yarn from the wool? Well, our sheep are hair sheep, right? So that means they will get on a wool coat in the winter, but whenever warm weather shows up, it just naturally falls out. So we definitely don't have them for the wool. We got them specifically because we didn't have to shear them, because we knew that would be cool the first time we did it, but then we'd be like, ah, oh, the hell with this. So we have them for two reasons. One, helping us maintain the property, keep the weeds down and things like that. And two, yeah, we eat them and they are delicious. Not much on them. They're little things, little tiny things. From each sheep, we only get about 30 to 40 pounds. And that's if it's full grown, like full grown. And it takes these things are still lambs at 2 years. They don't mature until 2 years. Most other breeds, they are no longer a lamb if they are older than 1 year. With these, carry their pre-puberty all the way until now. They can still have babies and everything, but they're not fully grown. They're not mature at all until 2 years. So I just looked up and saw Ethan as a stud. All right. Hey, want some Bud Light, Matt? See, I can make the jokes too. Let's see. Justin says, Bodie, are you going to Hopperstock next year? Probably not. Simply because I might, because it's pretty close, I probably will. But I was just talking with Grant about this at the Alabama race, and I'm thinking that next year's race schedule / show schedule is going to change up quite a bit. So Jason Egan is having his Deary Days, and that's all the way out in Idaho. Like that's way over there. That's a long way. But I think it would be cool to go to, and that's in early August. I definitely don't think that I'll do Paul Bunyan again. Both times it just kind of sort of hasn't seemed like it's been worth it to me. And so I read you there, Nate. But what does Matt say? Matt's still drinking it. Yeah, so I think I want to go to Deary Days, and that's in August, and then Sawfest in October. Of course, the Alabama race. There's another race right before Sawfest that's close. It's in North Carolina. Brennan and Garrett went to that race. I think I might be interested in going to that. And then wrap around the next year in April. I think I really want to do Chardon. The guys were talking it up, and it sounds like a really good show. But I can't go to everything, and that's what's really a bum deal, because it gets expensive. I don't have money like that. So, and like this past a couple months ago, all I wanted was to come home. I just wanted to come home. I missed my wife, and that was real. That was legit. I was like, I'm sick of this. And so there's only so much traveling I can really do. Let's see. Oh, you out, Cajun? See you, bud. Barker's, yes, more real racing. I want to do more real racing. I really enjoy it. Caleb, 492 is supposed to be delivered tomorrow. Ooh, that's good. Ohio Lumberjack, you having a bike class at Tip Up? I don't have a bike class saw. I would love to run that, but I need to get one of those bike class saws first, Let's see. John Bob, good night. Hey, John Bob, before you go, if you're not there, hey, get in touch with me, buddy, if you're home. Let's see. Hey, Womp Womp, how you doing, man? It's a long time since I heard from you, bub. Uh, Novice Tree Guy. All right. From Virginia. I love Virginia. Virginia is just a fantastic state. And I mean that. Oh, and Zach's from Illinois. Darren, Arkansas. Look, everybody's just passing around where they're from. Let's see. What else? Um, Tazapalooza. That's another one that's way out there, you know. Maybe I'll be able to make it, maybe not. We'll see. Um, yeah, just send me a text, John Bob. You know what I'm talking about. Let's I think you do. You can probably figure it out. You're a smart guy. But you don't want people to know about these things. Mm. I don't know. The tip up is that's up in Michigan, right? Um, that's in February. I mean, do I want to go to Michigan in February? It doesn't seem like it's something I'm really going to be eager to do. I don't know. We'll see. More East Coast guys than I thought. Tyler, where are you at? I mean, there's a lot of East Coast guys that follow my channel. Most of them are East Coast. Um, I got you, John Bob. Uh, yeah, that's what Jared was telling me that. Garrett says tip up wasn't bad last year. I'm more concerned, honestly, with making it to Chardon. And I know that there's a nice gap in between there. We'll just have to see and go, you know, is it, is it worth doing? Should I go to both events or should I go to just one? And I've been hearing so much about Chardon that I'm like, I think I'm already kind of sold on that. I want to go to Chardon. Um, Joe's only about an hour from tip up, which, I mean, I know you ain't saying nothing, Joe, or anything like that, but that would be an awesome time to maybe collaborate and get some of my saws dynoed. They'd look, we can combine audiences. Yeah, it's a thing. I've actually thought about actually just calling you up and figuring out a date and maybe doing what Charlie Briscoe does and just going up there with a load of saws just to see uh, how much power they produce and stuff. You know, um, let's see. Oh, Jesse or Justin, I mean, he's asking if Bobby Boucher would ever be for sale. No, at least not in the form that he's in, because if I was to do anything with that saw, then Pat would have to have first dibs on that because he built it, and it might be one of those things where I'm not selling Bobby Boucher. But if I ever did, it would have to go through Pat first, and maybe the cylinder and everything would go back to Pat because he worked really hard on it, and I don't want to do that to him. Let's see. Mm. Well, listen, Novice Tree Guy, I can appreciate it. I don't know why you're saying that you've got a 86 square body, but I can appreciate that comment because I love vehicles. I've had well over 100 different vehicles. But anyways, but I can't do the C10s or the C20s. I can't do them. They're so small. Um, they don't even start to get big until the like 88 body style. 88, 89, whenever they went to the basically the 90s body style, they started getting bigger then and more comfortable. But yeah, like I had a 71 or 72 C10 or C20. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was C10. But that thing, the steering wheel's right here, and I'm actually not even. I'm like 6'1", but everybody thinks I'm 6'3" because they measure themselves with their shoes on. I measure myself flat-footed. I'm 6'1". So with the shoes on, I'm typically 6'2", 6'3", something like that. And those Chevys were tiny, and I can't fit in them. So that's just my thoughts on the Chevys. I love their motors and their transmissions and their vehicles, but I got to do Dodge all the way for a single cab pickup truck because I just don't fit in the Chevys. And I mean, Ford's okay, but Smitty, what are you talking about? SRV saw. I don't know what you're talking about with SRV saw. Yeah, Caleb, man. I mean, whenever you get over that 6 foot tall barrier, you hit your head a lot and you bump your knees all the effing time. And I mean, everything's made for the average person. And back in the 70s, the average dude was probably only 5'6", 5'7". And here I am, 6'2", depending on how you look at it. With shoes on, I'm 6'2", 6'3". So, mm, I hear you, Darren. Doc. Let's see. Smitty. Oh, I was thinking, yeah, I did. I just did. No, I didn't name it Stevie Ray Vaughan. I named Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I've had the thought in my head, but it just hasn't popped up yet. So that's, yeah, I hear you there, Smitty. Stevie Ray Vaughan is awesome. And you know what the best thing about Stevie Ray Vaughan is? It ain't his guitar skills. See, you get pulled into a song listening to his guitar, but then he opens up that mouth and sings like he does. That is what made Stevie Ray Vaughan, because it blew everybody's minds. And he was a little teeny tiny feller too. He was kind of like Rick Astley, little guy with a big voice. Stevie Ray Vaughan is awesome in my book. And it's flooding in Texas, raining in Texas. That might be my favorite one of his songs. But anyways, yeah, I really dig Stevie Ray Vaughan. Texas Flood. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm not even going to try and sing like Stevie. I almost did. You know me. I do it. I'm not even going to try and sing like Stevie Ray Vaughan. That man would roll over in his grave. Oh yeah. So we got some people who's met Stevie Ray Vaughan. Oh my gosh. And Tony, good to see you, buddy. Haven't heard from you in a long time. How's the Green Goblin treating you, brother? You should come to Sawfest because the Green Goblin is, a 4620 or a Poland 295 or a 2750. They had a whole bunch of different little naming conventions for those saws. And anyways, you can come and run him. A decent build saw does really, really well quite often in those cheap saw challenges because you get so many people trying to shoot for the moon that they overshoot their mark, and it runs like shit. So just a plain old decent ported saw oftentimes can take the win. Good to hear that it's still running good, buddy. Yeah. I'm not gonna sing Stevie Ray Vaughan. Oh. All right, guys, it's getting late, and we've been on here almost an hour. You guys still going? I want to keep it going just so that you guys can just blabber back and forth at each other. I think it's hilarious. This is cool. I never thought chainsaws would be my hobby. Isn't it weird? I mean, I've ridden motorcycles all my life. I've worked on cars pretty much all of my life. And now, whenever I've finally reached a point to where I can, I got a good enough skill set to where I can work on the cars, do whatever I need to them. It's not such a big deal that I have to buy a camshaft, you know what I mean? But as a kid, a $200 camshaft would be like, oh my God. Right. But now, it's not too big of a deal. But with all the things, I've had guitars that I've tried to play and never really took to it and stuff. But all the things I've done in my life, never would I have thought that chainsaws would be my hobby. And I've been sticking with it pretty hot and heavy for, like 5 years. And that's crazy. Normally, I'm flighty. So I get into this and I mess with it and play with it. And then I turn around and sell it, and I'm on to something else. I guess that's what the good thing with chainsaws is you can sell it and just get another chainsaw. And normally you make money when you sell it if you do things right. So it's a fun hobby. Anyways, guys, yeah, I am going to call it. I am out of here. Good night, everyone. I hope y'all have a wonderful whatever. Watch those videos tomorrow. Hopefully we'll both learn something together because you'll point out to me where I was wrong. I got 2 videos coming out that's about the 5 series transfers. They've got some animations in there that I just robbed from other places on the internet. And hopefully it'll be pretty cool. And like I said, we can all learn something. The 5 series are set up quite a bit differently, and we need to treat them differently when we port them and pay more attention to those transfers and where we want them set. Anyways, all right. Good night.